Another week, another card to break down here in the MMA War Room. Welcome alongside Srikar, Rajendran, and Chris Shroyer. I'm Sam Corcoran, breaking down this week's UFC Apex card. Tatsuro Taira in the main event, going up against HyunSung Park. It was supposed to be Amir Albazi. They changed that fight last minute, and HyunSung Park gets moved up from the card for next week's Apex card to this week's card. Guys, I'll start with a quick breakdown and overview of this card. I'm not going to lie. I was very not excited about this card when I saw the names on it. But you look deeper. These are some fun matchups, I will say. They're not star power. There's not much star power. But at the end of the day, these should be a lot of entertaining fights. I am a little bit excited for it. Is it a good card? Objectively not. But at the end of the day, it's an exciting one. And I think this is something that will be... People are going to say a lot of stuff about it, against it. People are going to say a lot of stuff against it. And at the end of the day, I think they're going to be impressed. So for that reason, I'm going to give this card maybe like a 5 out of 10. It's not the best. No star power on it, but still not a terrible card.
Objectively, is this a good card? My answer is yes.
Yay!
Yes, and honestly, I think just scaling it to other Apex cards, this is one of the best Apex cards I think I've seen in my life. Like, this is a stacked card.
That's a hell of a take.
I mean, like, name an Apex card that's been better than this in the past, like, year or two.
Kyle card was pretty good.
Name another fight on that card.
I gotta look it up. It's been
I need to do some research before I comment on that, but off rip,
I just remember that card was
sound good. Hey, it's the
in terms of
just
straight Apex cards. This is the best one I've seen in a while.
Michael Morales and Neil Mangi. Wang Kong, Victoria Leonardo. There are some good fights on that card. But anyways.
Are any of those better than Rebecca Duncan or Ribovics Brenner? No.
The answer is no. I agree with you there.
So I think just off rip, like Apex cards,
it is loaded at the top of this card. The rest of the card, in general, this card is not that great in my opinion. It's better than what people are saying it is to be. But it's still not that great.
I'll just strongly disagree. I think this is a fire card, especially because Apex cards, you never look at it. You never look at Apex cards for star power. That's not what it's meant for. That's why I can never use star power as criteria for Apex cards. If you give me like fire, entertaining fights throughout the whole thing, which even on the prelims, like there's some decent fights there. Like, I think this is a really good card. And it's one that hopefully I can tune into for a while. I may be a little busy on Saturday, but I'm going to try to clear up the schedule for this one. This one's good. Really good fights top to bottom. So really excited. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. And honestly, the more that I think about it, honestly, Srikar, I'm starting to agree with you a little bit more, but as we get closer to the card, because you're right, there are going to be some absolute bangers and also a lot of top prospects, in my opinion, that we're going to see. So
that's a good prospect card if people are interested in seeing the future of UFC. I do like that.
Definitely. And it's like our conversation that we had during our midweek podcast or our midweek live podcast, our first edition of that. You know, you have to kind of look in the nooks and crannies for a lot of these guys before they make a big name for themselves. And if you want to become a bigger UFC fan, you know, sit down and watch some of these cards that don't have the big name stars on it. And you'll really, you know, look at the actual quality of fighting, and it'll make you more of a fan. You know, you can't just look at the big names and follow that and popularity. Sometimes you have to sit through the boring fights to, you know, really fall in love with the sport. So I suggest that people who, you know, like I said, don't really only follow the popular fighters, sit down and watch this. It'll be a great card.
And I do agree with that statement.
And honestly, I think it's my bad, Sam. I think it's a lose-lose for the UFC, because every time they put out an Apex card, it's like, oh wow, this is Apex slop, classic UFC. It sucks.
Yeah.
But then they'll put a fight like Ribovics and Brenner in there, and they'll be like, why is Ribovics Brenner in the Apex? You got to put that on an actual arena show with a crowd. So it's a lose-lose. Like, no one ever wins. So in terms of Apex cards, if you find these entertaining fights, like, again, I won't rehash the point, but
right,
it's a lose-lose situation. We got to be happy with what we got.
I agree.
Exactly. And you can never expect like a great card from an Apex card. You have to this is all based on like what an Apex card looks like. It's not going to be better than if you took the cards based on the fights in general, no pay-per-view stakes, no anything. It's not going to be like you're comparing UFC 318 versus this card is like a hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby. You see that?
Yeah.
So without the pay-per-view stakes and like having to pay for the fight. So
the Apex is where the big names are made. So if you want to catch on early, you watch the Apex cards.
That's agree with my that. Opinion. And I agree with that. And let's waste no more time. Let's get right into the fights, starting off with a women's fight to start off between Piera Rodriguez and Ketlen Souza in the strawweight division. Chris, I'll start with you for this fight. Two South Americans going at it, matching up pretty well. 5'3", 5'3", 116, 116, 63-inch, 63-inch. So who you got in this pretty even matchup on paper?
Yeah, you said it for me. I mean, on paper, it's pretty much dead even. But the odds suggest that Piera Rodriguez has the advantage, and I think she does too. I'm going to go with Piera Rodriguez by unanimous decision. Souza is definitely a better striker, don't get me wrong, and if it stays on the feet, she will 100% have the advantage. And that's no discredit to Piera because she also has solid striking. But Rodriguez just has like this relentless commitment to getting fights to the floor. And even though Ketlen Souza's takedown defense is, I believe, around 60%, if you could double check that for me, Sam, just so we could show the viewers.
Her takedown defense is around, 64%.
Okay, so it's not terrible. But at the same time, Rodriguez is just such a persistent grappler, and I kind of said
look at the takedown average right here.
Yes, no, it's actually insane. She landed 8 takedowns in her last fight, and it's like I said with Richie, she's just a pressure grappler. And although Richie was the underdog in this fight, Piera has the striking to keep up with Souza, and if she gets it to the mat, that's playing right into her world. So I'm gonna say that Piera wins this by unanimous decision. I don't know if Souza will win a round. I'm not going to put a stamp on that, but it will be unanimous.
Yeah, I also got a decision for this one. Rodriguez is just the better grappler in general. I do find it a little surprising, though, that she's a good grappler and has never won by submission. So that does raise a bit of a red flag for me. But nonetheless, I think the advantage is on the mat for Piera Rodriguez. And I think if she gets Souza down, I think she wins this fight. And like you said, Chris, if this stays on the feet, this is Souza's fight to lose. So give me Piera Rodriguez by decision here.
Yeah, Rodriguez was an LFA champ. She won a Contender Series. She's gone 3-2 in the UFC. One of those losses was a DQ.
It was a DQ.
But she's a busy grappler, solid ground and pound, likes to scrap on the feet. Souza, on the other hand, big volume striker. She wants to bring the pressure, but problem is she's not very technical. I don't think she's fully developed in that sense yet. I'm going with Rodriguez by decision as well. It's pretty easy. I think her grappling will control Souza over 15 minutes. We actually had Chris predict a finish in women's MMA last week. So
yeah, that was crazy.
Shameless plug. Go check out that video if you want to. But Rodriguez.
Socials are all down below. We'll be uploading more clips from this and from the post-fight recap like we did last week. So make sure you go follow the socials. We're all unanimous on this one. Let's move on to the next fight in the flyweight division. Rafael Estevam taking on Felipe Bunes. Estevam looking to keep his 0 versus Felipe Bunes, who has fought some pretty good guys recently. Srikar, I'll give this to you first. Who do you have?
Yeah, Estevam is 13-0. He's a dominant grappler. He does have cardio issues. He's more of a control guy. Like, he likes to get top position and just pretty much bank rounds. Bunes, very, very slick with submissions, but he also fades late. Like, they both really have cardio issues, so this kind of feels like a mirror match. But I think Estevam takes this one. I think he'll take it by decision. I think he'll implement his control wrestling and get this one done. So give me Rafael Estevam by decision.
I definitely agree with you, Srikar. I'm going to say unanimous decision for this one as well. Like you said, undefeated record, very good skill set. And also, he's more of a control guy. He's really not looking to do too much with his takedowns and grappling control. He was actually supposed to fight Andrey Lima, and that got canceled with Lima dropping out. That would have been an absolute banger.
That would have been a banger, yes.
Yeah, that would have been a banger. So Felipe Bunes stepping in on short notice. Obviously, he did have almost.
No, sorry, Bunes. I think Bunes was supposed to fight Lima, not Estevam.
What?
According to Tapal, according to
Tapal.
Okay. I got it wrong. I got it wrong.
I'll check Marcel's account.
All right, man. I guess I think I read it wrong. Okay, but still, however, Estevam very good at controlling the fight.
Yeah, Estevam at short notice. So
so all right, Estevam is on short notice, 13-0, and he is a huge favorite. I really don't see too much where Bunes can, really go at Estevam other than his submission skills. He has great submissions, but at the same time, Estevam, his grappling's too good, man. And just 60% takedown defense. So he's not really going to take him down. But at the same time, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. So also, Srikar and I like to play the game of, when you see a huge underdog, it doesn't hurt to sprinkle a little bit of money on them because anything can happen in the UFC. However, that will not be me because Estevam will win by unanimous decision, and that is my pick.
Yeah, this is actually one where I would sprinkle on the underdog. Now I am going Estevam, but I'm not too confident in that decision. I actually think this could be an upset watch here. I do think Estevam is the better fighter here. I think he will win just because of, both of these guys have cardio issues, and I think that's where Bunes' downfall is. He's going to try going for the takedown. Mm-hmm. Estevam's going to stop him, and then Estevam's just going to take over from there and win this fight by decision. But if for some reason Bunes can get through, which I think is possible, this is a good fight for an upset watch. You've seen some of the guys that Bunes has fought. He was scheduled against Andrey Lima, and recently he fought Josh Van, who's now challenging for the title. I know Josh Van has fought a lot recently, but Bunes has fought some guys that are no joke in the UFC. So just putting that out there. So I will say, I believe the odds right now looking at it are Esteban minus 550, Bunes plus 400. Sprinkle a little cash on Bunes, I will say. If you want a good risky bet, put like $5 on it. You'd profit a lot from that. Not too much money because I'm obviously telling you that the other person's going to win. But a good bet nonetheless, I think, just to maybe say, just a good insurance bet, I think that's.
I like the upset watch trademark. That's something we should start.
We can't trademark that. There's no way we can trademark that.
Well, not trademark or not trademark. Excuse me, stamp. He stamped it with an upset.
This is my upset watch stamp of the episode. Bunes to potentially upset Felipe Bunes to potentially upset Rafael Estevam, but. Let's move on to the next fight. Featherweight, Austin Bashi versus John Yannis. And all I have to say about John Yannis is, who is this guy? Seriously,
the Hooverds are out.
Like,
the Greek freak, man.
Like, this is one of those moments where I have to step back and be a little bit objective to you guys. Because I don't know much about this John Yannis, and it seems like a lot of other people don't. And Austin Bashi, he's coming off one loss, and he's 13-1. I think I have to pick him for this one. I think I'm going to go I'll go by decision for Austin Bashi, but this fight's kind of hard considering I don't know like the other guy he's fighting too well. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Did a little bit of research. There's just not much on him that you can find. So he's 9-3, came from what did he come from again?
Fury.
Fury. He came from Fury. So a good debut for him, I think, against another prospect. So I do think it works out, but I got to go Bashi in this one. I'll go Bashi by decision here.
Yeah, Austin Bashi was a big regional prospect. He was undefeated. He got a finish on Contender Series, and then he lost his UFC debut to Mr. C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez. He was supposed to fight Francis Marshall here. And me and Chris have some history with Francis Marshall. But
no, it's not even with Francis Marshall. It's with Myron Santos and the judges.
Santos. Yeah, but John Yannis stepped in on short notice. I'll be honest. Yeah, I don't really know much about John Yannis. It's kind of on me, but I'm not going to give you much of a breakdown there.
It's on all of us, and it's on all of us for not going to like the dark web and finding a Fury fight,
Yeah, so I won't give you much of a breakdown on Yannis, but Bashi, definitely a pressure heavy wrestler. He wants to take you down and smash. Pause. Simple as that. Doesn't have elite striking, but he mixes it well. I'm going to go with Bashi to get either a first-round submission or a first-round ground-and-pound TKO finish.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. I don't know about the first round. I was thinking maybe a little bit later in the fight. So, actually, John Yannis he's never won in the third round in the first round, or been finished in the first round. I don't believe, and I'm going to double check that right now so I'm not telling misinformation. But yeah, Bashi's very good. I've been very high on him since he came into the UFC. His Contender Series win was very impressive to me. And actually, I just checked it. So John Yannis, he's only been finished in the second round or later. He's actually lost to Cameron Smotherman in Fury, which is, he's fought UFC level guys, but I think Bashi's just too good. I'm going to say he's going to take it by, you know what? I'm going to say a second round submission. I'll put a stamp on that. I think Austin Bashi by sub is a great bet. He's just been very good and very dominant. And I think that this is almost like an alley-oop for him, in my opinion. So
I don't know if the odds are going to be that favorable on Bashi by submission, though.
I will check that right now. According to ESPN Bet, Bashi by submission. It is not here, so I will have to come back to you guys.
Hey, DraftKings, man, DraftKings.
Did we all? By the way, did we all pick different ways for that fight to end?
I mean, I had submission or TKO. I didn't really.
So you said TKO. Yeah, so I'm the only one that did predict finish for this one. So I said decision. So 3 decisions to start the card. But I'll start off the picks for this next event again. It's actually not the right event. I thought we were going to Vieira and Tresean Gore, but I forgot about this one. Nick Klein taking on Andrey Pulayev, 6-2 versus 9-3 in the middleweight division. Chris, you want to start this one off, or Srikar want to start this one off?
I can go ahead and start it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Nick Klein. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know if I told Chris about this or Sam about this, but back when he fought Monster Abdul Malik, I bet on him to win. I bet on Nick Klein.
I remember that.
And he actually brought the fight to Monster Abdul Malik. He's definitely an awkward submission grappler. He's not clean technically on the feet, but I mean, it works somehow. Pulayev, rangy kickboxer, very low output. We saw in that fight against Christian Leroy Duncan, he really faded as that fight went on, and his clinch game definitely a little sus. Honestly, I think Klein mixes the striking and the grappling enough to take a decision. This is going to be, if we're trademarking upset watch, this is going to be an upset because Klein is plus 130. But I'm more impressed by Nick Klein than Andrey Pulayev. Now, not a great sample size for either guy, but they've had similar journeys, especially when you look at they've both been on Contender Series. They both worked their way up, and they both had a fight in the UFC, which they gave a good fight to each of their opponents, but they both lost. But I think Nick Klein is going to get this one done. And at plus 130, I think those odds are pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, Nick Klein, very good fight against Mansour Abdul Malik. Andrey Pulayev, very tough debut against Christian Leroy Duncan. That is a very hard fight to come into the UFC and deal with. I agree with you, Srikar. He's very unorthodox, and he does have very good submission skills, and that could, kind of get to Pulayev, but Pulayev has an 85% takedown defense, and he's actually won by submission a few times himself. But the odds are spot on. You're right. Like, this is like, if you're gonna bet Nick Klein, that's very good value because it really is pretty much a pick 'em. But yeah, I did like what I saw from Pulayev in that CLD fight. He did fade at the end, but I mean, at the same time, like I said, that's just such a hard fight to just enter the UFC and try and contend with that. But it should be a great fight. This will be a hard fought fight. And Klein, obviously I just said Pulayev has won by submission a few times. Klein has never been submitted. So that is not going to be a route that Pulayev is going to take. I honestly think that even though the reach is, similar, if you can see at the bottom of the screen right there, it's only 1.5 inches in favor of Pulayev. Pulayev is 6'4", Nick Klein 6'1". I don't know. I just think, the lankiness of Pulayev and the striking and what he has to offer will be troublesome for Nick Klein. So I'm going to go Pulayev by a very, very hard fought decision. Might even be a split decision. I could definitely see that. But it'll be a great fight. In my head, it's actually a coin flip. So I'm going with, I guess, heads on this side of the coin. And Srikar is going with tails. And I live by the motto, tails never fail. So I don't know why I didn't just say Pulayev was tails. But we'll see on Saturday.
Well, if we're going by a coin flip, I'm going tails. I got Pulayev in this one, but I'm gonna go by KO.
Pulayev was heads.
Pulayev was heads. Oh, perfect. I'm usually the heads guy. I'm always the heads guy.
All right. It's right up Sam's alley.
So now this is making me even more inclined to pick Pulayev. I was like, I might need to go heads with Nick Klein, but now that it's Pulayev, I'm all in on Pulayev right here. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think his striking is where he's going to win this fight, and I think it's going to go I think this will be a finish. I think this will be the first knockout of the card or TKO. Both of these guys, it's hard to pick. Both of these guys lost their first UFC fight. So, and there's still a lot of potential for these guys. Don't get me wrong. I think Pulayev with that length is also a huge advantage for him. 6'4" versus 6'1". That's a huge advantage. And we saw last week with Renier de Ritter and Robert Whitaker. Sorry to bring that up, Srikar. But at the end of the day, this is a pick'em fight. I'm going to go Pulayev by knockout here. I think he gets the job done probably later in the fight. So if there's an over-under on fights, I'd probably take the over on this. But we got Pulayev by knockout. Srikar, the lone wolf for this one, taking Nick Klein. Now let's move on to this another middleweight bout. This is the one I wanted to get to. Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore. I'll go first. I got Vieira by submission. Personally, Tresean Gore, if you look at his resume, this is a must-win fight for him. I would not be shocked if he loses this fight, he gets cut by the UFC. Frankly put, the reason I'm picking this, I think it's pretty simple. Vieira and Gore love to go to the ground. They grapple a lot. I know, and their takedown defense is insane for both of these guys. But this is where I think the submission will come in. They love going to the ground a lot. The fights usually happen on the ground. And frankly put, Vieira just has more of a history of submitting some great fighters on the ground. Armin Petrosyan is one of them. He lost to Petrosky the last fight, but Petrosyan is one of them. I think this is where Vieira gets it done. Goes to 11-3, takes Tresean Gore out of the UFC. Give me Vieira by submission for this one. Odds fight that is pretty close, by the way. I believe is Gore plus 175, Vieira minus 205. Not as close, but as the Klein fight, but still.
Yeah, honestly, Sam, I actually very much agree with you. I think Vieira by submission is how he's going to do it. I think that's a great value bet as well. And this is actually a very high stakes matchup in the middleweight division. Like you said, I think that this is a must win for Tresean Gore, and it's an opportunity for Vieira to get back on track. And he has history against good comp.
For what it's worth, Gore would be 2-4 in the UFC if he loses.
But hey, you know what? We just saw Martin Buday get cut after being 7-1 in the UFC. And that happened today. So, I honestly don't even know what you have to do to stay in the UFC or get cut from it, because clearly it's anything. It's just very interesting thing to see happen. However, we're not talking about Martin Buday. Shout out to you.
I don't know if
you should not have been cut, bro. You should not have been cut.
I don't know if it would be the end of the line for Tresean Gore, because he's also a very entertaining fighter, like objectively. Vieira is one of the best BJJ guys in the UFC, but obviously terrible cardio, terrible striking. Gore is, again, very explosive. He's got a good guillotine, man. But I will say his fight IQ is very rough. That is literally what loses him fights. It happened in the Tulio fight as well. I'm going with Vieira to win by a second round submission. I agree with these guys. I just don't trust Gore to navigate the grappling without making a mistake. And Vieira is one of those guys on the mat where you cannot make a mistake. So it'll fall right into his hands. So give me Vieira by sub.
Yeah, no. And I mean, Gore, he's always live for an upset. Don't get me wrong. He's great athleticism, striking power, and he has good instincts to finish the fight. However, he's just had a lot of vulnerability to striking in his last fight. And even though Vieira is not the best striker, I think that he can get hands on him. And once he gets hands on him and gets that clinch and starts grappling, I think it'll be over.
Yeah, Gore's you can't underestimate his power. He's an athletic, entertaining guy. The fight IQ you mentioned, Srikar, that's usually his downfall. I think this is where it comes in, especially against a fantastic BJJ artist. But let's move on to the last fight of the prelims in the bantamweight bout. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. Srikar, you up for this one?
Awesome.
You guys both love this fight. Well, let's take it away. Take it away. One of you guys. Go ahead.
You got it, Srikar. You made it. No, you got it first. You made a noise first.
Oh my God. Obviously, Rinya Nakamura, Olympic level wrestler, which being an Olympic level wrestler coming out of Japan means you're really freaking good at your job. He's fallen in love with his hands a bit too much, though. I think that's my one problem. He's kind of shied away from the wrestling, especially in his loss to Muin Gafurov. He decided to strike with him, which I was literally screaming at my TV, wrestle. But you know what? Sometimes you want to show you got Canelo hands like Bilal Muhammad, and you just go ahead and do it. Nathan Fletcher,
what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Man. Put some respect on his name.
Sorry, I just couldn't remember his name.
Put on a fight of the year contender, man.
He did.
Well, what's a guy got to do to get a little bit of respect? No, I'm playing. Fletcher, very much a back take heavy grappler. He did it against Kalen Lufferin. He's got okay striking. I think Nakamura can out wrestle and outwork him over 3 rounds. It just comes down to whether he actually does wrestle. So assuming Rinya Nakamura does what he is an Olympic level guy at, I think he takes a decision. So give me Rinya Nakamura by decision.
I agree. I think Nakamura is he's gonna need to be on his game for this one. Fletcher.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Fletcher is very live at plus 330.
Yes,
very
1,000%.
Yeah. These odds are kind of crazy.
He's not someone that you can kind of beat around the bush with. Like, you need to be straight to the point and stick to your game plan. And also, I don't want to say it has to be like completely polished, fight from Nakamura, but he can't make too many mistakes against Nathan Fletcher. And just a little side note, I'm mentioning our live again that we had on Wednesday. It's like all these other, side promotions in the UFC to get to the UFC. We have Rinya Nakamura, who won the road to the UFC. Nathan Fletcher was on the Ultimate Fighter. So it's kind of cool to see them clashing in the UFC. But I mean, I was very impressed from what I saw with Nathan Fletcher in the Ultimate Fighter and even in his last fight. However, you're right, Srikar. Olympic level wrestler from Nakamura. He can't get egotistical in this. Nathan Fletcher is too good and too smart to get egotistical against. And if he does, then I could see this being, like a 19-19 going into the 3rd round. However, Rinya does have knockout power. He can control the fight if he wants to. If he slips up on the ground and Nathan gets your back, like you said, it's over. Like, it could be over. And after Rinya's last fight, I think that he will learn from his mistakes. So I have him by a unanimous decision. I think Nathan Fletcher's a little too good to get finished, but it will be a great fight. Don't get me wrong. I think this will be the best fight of the prelims, in my opinion.
I completely agree with that statement that this is going to be the best fight of the prelims. Both these guys, hard to go out. I believe Fletcher has lost by decision, and he got knocked out once in his career. 9-2, won every other fight. Nakamura, not the best fight, decision, and at UFC 311 to Gafarov. In this fight, though, I mean, here's where I struggle a little bit. You mentioned this Nakamura with this Olympic level wrestling, and I just feel like we've never seen it. Like, he loves punching. It's not his fight style to wrestle. Is he good at it? Absolutely. You know who else is good at it? Nathan Fletcher. And that's why I'm taking the dog in this one. Give me Nathan Fletcher by decision. I'm going with the heavy dog. I need to see more from Nakamura before I can confidently pick him to win a fight. Whereas for Nathan Fletcher, if this fight does go to the ground, I do think he has the advantage. Nakamura does not like being on the ground. He's shown that in his fights. Nathan Fletcher is comfortable being on the ground. That's what I think is going to happen. And you look at on the feet too. Nakamura is great on the feet, but Nathan Fletcher, underrated on the feet. Just look at these stats right here. 61% defense, 60% significant strikes, lands more strikes per minute than Nakamura. I like this matchup a lot for Nathan Fletcher. It's a very tough challenge, but especially when I believe he is 1-2 in the UFC. No, 1-1 in the UFC. He lost. Unless you count the Ultimate Fighter, he did have a loss on the Ultimate Fighter.
That's an exhibition.
It's an exhibition. At the end of the day, though, I feel like I've seen more from Nathan Fletcher to have a little more confidence in me. So that's why I'm going Nathan Fletcher by decision. This one, I think this fight will go to decision, but I'll take the lone wolf on this one. Give me Nathan Fletcher. The dog at right now, I'm looking at him.
Yeah,
he's 305.
I like that, Sam. That's a big stab in the dark.
I believe this is the heaviest dog we've ever picked on this podcast. Someone has ever picked on this podcast.
Yeah, Prochnio was plus 270. So yeah, you got him by like 30
Vittori
points.
was around there too. So those are the two guys we picked. This is the first plus 300 dog that I've picked. So I'm going with this. I'm going with Nate Fletcher. I will still say though, and I know this is not going to give the viewer much confidence in my pick. I feel confident in this pick. I still believe that the Felipe Bunes is the better. If you want to put money on it, I still think Felipe Bunes is the better gamble than this pick. Because I do think Nakamura, you can't underestimate him. But Bunes, I think I think that's the best chance at an underdog winning. I think this one right here is the one I have the best feeling about, though. And it's better odds, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I like it,
Wise it does.
Perfect. Well, we've hit the 30-minute mark on the dot in this podcast, rolling through the prelims. Let's move on to the main card, starting out with a featherweight bout. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. I can start for this one. Two guys with one loss each, 10-1 versus 15-1. And I look at this fight, just Danny Silva has not convinced me much of what he can do in the UFC. Split decision were his last two fights. Meanwhile, Kevin Vallejos, you look at this win-by percentage, 73% knockout. This guy does not like finishing fights early. He's only 13% decision. That's why I got Kevin Vallejos by finish, by knockout in this fight. This is going to be a fight, two strikers, so I do think this will go to a finish no matter what. But two great strikers here. I think Vallejos has the upper edge, however. At minus 500 odds right now, I'm taking the heavy favorite in this one. Give me Kevin Vallejos by knockout.
You should have never mentioned the time because I'm going to go a little bit long on this fight.
That's all good. I was just saying we had some third. I was just pointing out.
Get it.
Yeah, go ahead. Srikar's got some stuff to say. All right, talk it. Let's go.
This is a banger. I mentioned this is one of the best Apex cards I've ever seen. Vallejos is a huge reason why, man. Kevin Vallejos is that guy. Like he is one of the most promising young fighters in the UFC right now across any division. Like the guy striking is insanely clean. He's precise. He's got hands. He's got legs too. He can kick. And then there's this like high volume, like rhythm boxing style to his game where he's just constantly chipping away at you until suddenly, boom, like he's landing something huge. And you don't sleep on the ground game either. We haven't seen the full arsenal yet, but I mean, he's shown flashes of the grappling and really strong positional awareness too. So across from him, Danny Silva, definitely not a slouch, man. He's a legit striker too. More boxing focused, great footwork. He knows how to push the pace early on. He's dangerous, especially in that like first round. He's going to be super dangerous.
Yep.
But I think Silva's got not one, but like a few red flags. His cardio can dip.
Yes.
He's had issues with weight. I know Kevin Vallejos was saying Silva might not make weight, and then Silva came back saying mind your business, which I don't know what to take of that. But
and by the way, we're recording before weigh-in, so it would be mad funny if he just misses weight and we're talking.
Well, I'm making my pick contingent on that or not. And defensively, obviously, he starts to fade as fights go on as well. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Silva ends up moving up to lightweight long term. But for now, at 145, if he's locked in, he's still a real problem. The thing is, I think both of these guys want the same kind of fight. Like they want to strike, they want to move, they want to pick each other apart, with the volume, with the technique. And when that happens, it usually comes down to one, who's better at that style, and two, like who's got those extra tools to shift the momentum if the fight isn't going their way. And in this case, I think on both counts, it's Vallejos. Like he's got the better cardio. He's got the sharper timing, the faster hands. He's cleaner defensively. He's also probably the one that's more likely to stay composed and land the big shots, within the chaos. And if this thing hits the mat, I mean, Vallejos again with the edge. I think Danny Silva's a really promising fighter, but like this is just a really tough matchup for him. So give me Kevin Vallejos. I don't think he's going to do it by finish. Give me Kevin Vallejos by unanimous decision. I think it goes to the scorecards, but I think at the end of the day, Vallejos should outclass him over, 3 rounds.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Srikar. I think it will go to decision too. It'll be a great fight. A very hard fought fight as well from both of these guys. And also, I mean, both fighters have one loss on their record and to solid competition for both of them, in my opinion, at least. I mean, Vallejos definitely, he lost to Jean Silva on Contender Series, and that is aging like fine wine right now for him.
It was a very close fight.
It was a very close fight as well. And Danny Silva, I mean, I in my opinion, I have high regards for Jack Jenkins. I think Jack Jenkins is a very good fighter. But, other people might think differently. Silva struggled a lot with pressure in that fight. And I think Vallejos has all the tools to, put the pressure on him and make him feel uncomfortable. Very technical, powerful. And he's just very fluid with wherever the fight will go, in my opinion. But he wants to keep it up. And he wants to keep it striking. And I think Danny Silva, he's game for anything. He's game, especially to keep it striking, in my opinion. But I just think that at the same time, Vallejos is on a rocket ship to the moon. I think this guy's going to be a problem in the future. He's going to be, I think he's going to be one of the next featherweight contenders, in my opinion. So
I'd go as far as saying he could be the next featherweight champ.
He very well could be.
A future featherweight champ, not the next one, but a future.
He will be a bona fide, definite top 10 contender for it. Honestly, within.
And he's only 23, by the way.
He's only 23. All these young guys, man. I'm about to turn 23. Why can't I be in the UFC? I do not want to be in the UFC. These guys are absolute dogs. But. Yeah, it's like I said, like this guy will be a bona fide top 10 contender for years to come. He honestly might even reach that, honestly, by the end of 2026, I think he could be, trending up towards the top 5, in my opinion. It's my very honest opinion. But yeah, Srikar, I think you laid it out perfectly. Great analysis. I have Vallejos by decision, and this is going to be a banger. Like, these guys will not back down for anything. It's going to be a slugfest. I can honestly see both of them having 100 significant strikes each by the end of this.
This is a fight of the night contender.
Yes,
absolutely. And this is why you watch the Apex card, because you can say if Kevin Vallejos does end up being a future champion, you can go back and say, I watched Kevin Vallejos before anyone knew about it.
Exactly.
So, just pointing that out there. But that's always a fun fight to watch. Let's move on to the welterweight division. Neil Magny taking on Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, 2 vets in this division. Both coming off losses, longtime vets. Magny almost feels like the Kevin Holland of the welterweight division.
He is a bona fide gatekeeper.
Yes, he is. And you look at the guys he's fought, it's pretty, the guys he's fought: Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Ian Gary, Gilbert Burns, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Daniel Rodriguez. He actually beat Daniel Rodriguez. Taking on Dos Santos. And I guess I'll just start this one off, I guess. Dos Santos just going against a gatekeeper like Magny. Dos Santos just has not proven much to me. There's not.
Keep going, Sam.
I mean, what
you're trending in direction I'm going.
You're trying. Okay. Well, I mean, he did beat BSD. That's a great win for him. BSD is never a fighter that's really impressed me personally. I know he's good, but never that impressive to me. Neil Magny, I'm going to have him winning this fight. I have him winning by decision. I know he's lost a lot recently. But Dos Santos just hasn't proven a lot to me. 25-9. He's a vet that just hasn't proven much. And that's always a red flag. Neil Magny has proven a lot. I know the 14 losses don't scream that, but just look at the guys he's fought. He is the gatekeeper of this welterweight division, one of these gatekeepers. I don't think Dos Santos is ready to get past that gate. So that's why I got Neil Magny by decision, giving him the little Dikembe finger wag. No, you're not getting past me. You're not going anywhere near the rankings, my friend.
That was a bar, Sam. He's a gatekeeper. He's not getting past this gate. I like it.
Yeah. That's what gatekeepers do, man.
You're right. They turn back the unworthy opponents.
And by the way, let me find the odds real quick. Neil Magny is a 160 plus 165 dog in this one. Yep. So just throwing that out there.
And Sam, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think Neil Magny's going to win by unanimous decision. Dude is 22-12 in the UFC, and he has lost and beat some of the best, welterweights to ever grace the UFC. He's been around for a minute. So I think that, maybe the odds makers are thinking about some.
It could be, it's recency bias. He's just lost 2 straight fights.
I was going to say recency bias, also the age too. Like he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
However,
I will say, by the way, if it's recency bias, that's ridiculous because he's lost to 3 of his last 4 fights have been to his last 4 fights. He had a win against Mike Malott, and then he lost to the 3 best welterweight prospects in the UFC.
Yeah, well, he was losing that Malott fight before he eventually won, but keep it rolling.
Still,
yeah. Just like recently, aside from Michael Chiesa in 2021, in the past 4 years, he's lost to Shavkat, Gilbert Burns, Ian Gary, Michael Morales, and Carlos Prates. So look, he's gotten finished a lot. So I think that also is something to take into account. However, look at the height and reach difference in this
I was
fight.
going to point that out, dude. Holy hell.
6'3" to 5'11", 80-inch reach to 73. Neil Magny is like a tarantula spider in the cage. He is so lengthy. You know, he can just grind it out, get you where he wants to get you.
Coughing baby again.
Yeah. No, I honestly have never seen that meme, but I'll take your word for it.
You've
Sam.
never seen that meme?
Nah, do I live under a rock for saying that?
Yeah, you live under a rock.
Yes, you
bro.
do.
Okay, I might live under a rock, but you know who doesn't? Neil Magny, because he's winning by unanimous decision. Book it. Honestly, dude, that's a lock. Chris Lock.
Okay, well, this is what
I think that's a lock.
Hydrogen bomb versus.
Oh damn! I've actually never seen that. Wow, is that what?
Yeah, Chris has been living under a rock, guys. Yeah, I see this all the time. It's like this is what you get when you put Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano for a UFC 311 main event.
Oh, just like boom that.
Well, it's just like who would win in a fight between a hydrogen bomb and a coughing baby? It's basically like,
dude, I'm taking the coughing baby. Are you kidding me? Especially if it has whooping cough, bro. That's messing up a hydrogen bomb, bro.
I really hate to spoil your guys' Neil Magny party. First off, yes, as Sam said, battle of the unks, battle of the veterans.
Yes.
It's the unction.
And I think that's where we're kind of, well, not we, but you guys, sorry. We're kind of analyzing this fight the wrong way. This is not a Neil Magny gatekeeper fight. This is a Neil Magny, like, fun veteran fight. Like, Zaleski's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, he's not getting past Neil Magny will, like, not do that much for him. Like, it'll be
no,
cool.
yeah, it's not going to do much. Yeah, for sure.
But Magny, he's well-rounded, but I think Magny is clearly washed, honestly. Like, I don't know what you guys are seeing that I'm not seeing. Zaleski obviously is not in his prime either, but I think over 3 rounds, he is the more dangerous striker. And honestly, I think he's had better recent performances than Magny. Like, what are you guys seeing that I'm not? Like,
I never said he's had better recent performances. I'm just not as impressed by his resume.
Obviously, he got finished by Chitty, which is not good. Zach Scroggin, TKO win. He loses a unanimous decision to Randy Brown. Majority draw with Renat Fakardinov. He beats Benoit Saint-Denis, albeit it was earlier in Benoit Saint-Denis' career.
Yeah.
Loses a split decision to Salikov. I don't know, man. Like, I think over 3 rounds, I think Zaleski dos Santos will outpoint Magny. And honestly, this could be a trap line because for all the reasons you guys suggested, that'll make someone be like, okay, yeah, so we should beat Zaleski dos Santos. You know, if he beat Mike Mallet and I guess had the honor of getting finished by Carlos Prates, he should beat Zaleski dos Santos. But I feel like that's not the case. Like, I think Zaleski will win a decision here. Like, I think he just outpoints Magny over 3 rounds. Like, that simple.
I honestly think it's a reverse trap line. Like, I think that they're going to see like, oh, he just got absolutely destroyed by 2 guys. He got knocked out in what I believe it was the first round twice. I think that people are going to think that he's on his way out, and I don't know. I'm taking my my side with the Haitian Sensation. That is one of the best nicknames too, by the way, in the UFC. That is a fire nickname. But I don't know. I think the veteran is gonna pull out some vet tricks out of his sleeve and show why he's still in the UFC.
There's no one here beside me. My problems.
I'll definitely be beside you later in this video. You'll
another lone wolf pick, man.
Chris, you're the only one that hasn't been a lone wolf for the past 2 fight cards, actually, I believe. No.
Dude, that's not my fault. You're just stealing all my picks.
No, it could be the other way.
I saw that coming from like.
By the way, we do not converse about these picks before the video. It is just actually purely coincidental that Srikar and I picked every fight similarly last.
I'm the one that I like parody. Like, I advocate for parody. Every time we all agree on something, I try and get like Sam or Chris to just like change their mind.
I know.
We get off this video and we go, bro, no way we just picked the same thing. It makes no sense. But you know what they say? Great minds think alike.
This is why I love these two guys down here. So shout out. But let's move on. Let's move on to the first ranked fight of the card. That's kind of crazy, but I mean, it is Apex, so it is what it is. Karol Rosa taking on Noah Cornell, 18-7 versus 9-2 in the women's bantamweight division towards the end of the rankings. Chris, I'll also let you start this one off. Who you got for this one?
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm going back-to-back dogs. I think Nora Cornell by decision. I think that she's gonna outpoint Rosa, maybe even get a finish. She really impressed me in her last fight against Haley Cowan, and I've been following Rosa for quite some time, pretty much her entire UFC career, and you know I don't know. I'm impressed, but there's just specific lapses that turn me away from her. And I think that Nora has all the makings to, take the fight to her. And it will definitely be a fight that needs discipline. And, it'll be at the same time, like Rosa, she has not had back-to-back wins since 2019. So if we're following the trends that tend to come up in these videos.
I knew he was going to bring up the
I knew he was going to do it.
That's not the reason I'm picking it, by the way. I think that Cornell is finally ready to jump into the top 10. And she definitely has to make serious improvements in physical preparation. We've seen before, and she's had trouble with her weight cut and also, cardio and things like that. But I think that, she's getting a very good opportunity here, and I don't think she's going to squander it. I think that she is the better fighter. It's pretty even statistically in terms of height and reach as well. If you could just, Sam, can you pull up the significant strikes tab as well?
Yes, I can.
Nora, look, Rosa definitely has the advantage in the strikes landed department. But look at the defense from Nora. She absorbs just under 2 strikes per minute, as opposed to Hosa's just under 5. So Hosa's used to getting in a dogfight, and Nora Cornell is not. I think that Cornell is going to use her fight IQ that she's shown recently, and I think that she's going to outclass Hosa, and she's going to spring into her spot in the rankings, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see. This will definitely go to decision. There's not going to be a women's finish for this one, and if there is, I'll be mad that I didn't predict it, because that's like a 1 in a million thing. But I think Nora is going to get it done, so I'm going with back-to-back dogs.
Yeah, Rosa, she's got volume, but just not very athletic, and sometimes she can have some trouble with being too hesitant at times. Cornell definitely hits hard. She's got solid kickboxing. Her wrestling defense, as well as her weight cuts, have been very, very sus. I don't think she's made weight in a minute. Give me Cornell by decision, though. I think that's going to be what happens here. So another underdog pick. There's a lot of underdogs we're picking on this card among the three of us. So here's another one.
Yes. Yeah, Nora Cornell is a reason why the UFC needs to bring back the women's featherweight division. This is someone that cannot make weight or has had very tough time making weight. She's had 4 catchweight fights already. 2 of the last 3 have been catchweight. But nonetheless, whether she makes weight or not, if this ends up being a catchweight bout, I do think she wins this. Karol Rosa is very hard to take down, but she hasn't fought a surging contender like Nora Cornell, who, by the way, is a knockout artist. Give me Nora Cornell by TKO or knockout. I'm going to go a hot take here. I think this is where it could happen. I don't think Rosa's seen somebody with knockout power like Cornell. It's all been decision. So many decisions. She's never been knocked out in her career before, so that it is a hot take, but I do think if there's one person to do it, it's Nora Cornell. So give me her by knockout here.
Good pick, Sam. I like it.
There you go. Hell yeah, man.
Someone had to pick the finish here.
Someone had to pick the finish. Let's move on. Elves Brenner versus Esteban Ribovics. Srikar, you were talking about how much you love Ribovics. How about you start this one off?
This is another banger, man. Another banger on this card. Esteban Ribovics back in action, looking to bounce back after that razor close loss to Nasrat Haqparast. And honestly, you can't fault the guy's effort. He brought it in that fight just like he always does. Ribovics is one of those fighters who's really just down for a war every time he steps in that cage. Tough as nails. The guy hits like a truck. Honestly, surprisingly technical for a guy who looks like he just wants to throw down. But again, like, which leads into my next point. Like, do not mistake him for just a brawler. Like, he's got really clean footwork, solid kickboxing, smart fight IQ, low key, really good takedown defense. Like, he's one of those new wave guys who can stand and bang, but still play it smart when the chaos officially starts. Now, with Elves Brenner, there's another guy who thrives in chaos out of Shoot the Box, and he is definitely a product of that gym through and through. And you know what that means. That means pressure. It means violence. It means a willingness to scrap, just like Charles Oliveira and all the guys over there. He's got real knockout power, man. He's got the knockout power. He's durable. He always finds a way to make things gritty. And the wild part is he actually does have a killer submission game, but he rarely uses it. Like, Brenner prefers to swing and drag guys into deep waters on the feet. So he never actually takes fights to the mat. So I think the kind of fight we're getting is probably a violent, high-paced war. Both guys are going to look to test each other's chin. Neither one is going to back down. The pace is going to be absolutely nuts.
Yep.
But here is where I lean towards Esteban Ribovics. He's a bit more durable, a little more efficient, and I think over 3 rounds, I think his cardio holds up better. Brenner, he can be flashy, he can be explosive, but Ribovics is consistent. Like, he keeps the volume high, he doesn't fade. If Brenner doesn't shoot for a takedown, and let's be honest, he probably won't, like, that gives Ribovics the kind of fight that he thrives in. So I think this goes the distance. Both guys are too tough to go down easily, but in a fight where it's going to come down to pace, where it's going to come down to who can pressure the other, who's going to throw with more output, I think Ribovics got it. So give me Esteban Ribovics by decision.
You want to take it, Sam?
Go for it. No, you go for it, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that both of these guys, like you said, Srikar, are insanely durable. And just, if you guys want to watch 2 great fights from either of these guys, for Esteban Ribovics, I suggest going back and watching him versus Daniel Zellhuber at UFC Noche last September. That was the Merab versus Sean O'Malley card, their first fight. That was one of the best fights of the year. Absolutely amazing. And then if you want to watch a good fight from Elves Brenner, I suggest going to watch Elves Brenner versus, I believe it was Guram Kutataladze, and Srikar has a love-hate relationship. I do too, man. I love Guram. He's so good.
I love Guram. It's just he let me down, but I love
he lets
Guram.
me down so many times, but he's so talented, and I just don't understand it. That's a conversation for a different time. However, Elves Brenner was getting his ass whooped, like, up and down the street. He had the blonde Brazilian Super Saiyan hair. He did the whole thing. Everyone was in his corner. His hair was red by the 3rd round from all the blood and the huge gash in his face. He just said, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to go after Guram, and then knocks Guram out. It was insane. He came back and absolutely, destroyed him. I'm pretty sure he knocked him out. That was a while ago, and I didn't check that fight. However, just go back and watch it. 2 great fights from both of these guys. And I just don't think that this will be finished, in my opinion. I'm actually going to check the odds to go the distance. But like you said, Srikar, Esteban is very technical, surprisingly, for someone who just wants to, wing it from the hip. And this dude has power, man. He has cement hands. He also has crazy kicks, too. We saw what he did to Terrence McKinney. Literally sat him down with a kick. He was sitting knocked out on the edge of the cage. He's very, his fight IQ is good. However, he likes to charge in. So if Elves wanted to, counterpunch, that would be definitely the way to go. However, Elves doesn't like to do that. He likes to do exactly what Esteban likes to do. They're just going to meet in the center of the cage constantly, and it's just going to be, they're just going to be butting heads. I honestly think that this could be fight of the night. However, I actually think the next fight is going to be fight of the night. We'll get to that in a few seconds, but this is going to be a great fight. I do have Esteban by decision just because I think that the power will be a little too much and the technicality as well. However, Elvis is a live dog, man. He's had some crazy comebacks, and he can hang with anyone. So be weary of that. But Esteban is good, man. I think that last loss that he took, just ran into a beast. And sometimes you just gotta, swallow it and move forward. And I think that this is the fight that he will do it against, and he'll show his grit and nature as an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I completely agree. I got Ribovics here. I think it will go to decision, as you guys are saying. This is a banger fight, man. Both of these guys are very technical. I think Ribovics just has the upper edge here. You guys said everything I wanted to say at this point, so I'll keep it short. I got Ribovics by decision in this case. All unanimous for the fight.
Sorry, the fight to go the distance is minus. Oh no, not minus. I think it's minus 110. No. Sorry, it's not minus 110. It's minus 150, I believe.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a decision or a knockout. I got decision for this one. But
no, it is minus 110. I'm sorry, I can't read.
Minus 110 is really good odds.
Big time.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Just to speak tiny bit about the odds, over 2.5 rounds on DraftKings is minus 145. And that extra 2.5 minutes makes it a minus 110. So that's very interesting to look at.
Yeah, it should be a banger fight nonetheless. I'm super excited for this one. But you said the next fight, Chris. You said that this was going to be the fight of the night. Mateusz Rębecki versus Chris Duncan.
I agree. Yeah, this is gonna be
all right, take the floor, Chris. Take the floor. Let's hear it.
Dude, I am so excited for this fight. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is going to be... If you could define a war in a 15-minute fight, if it even goes that long, this is it. Like, for my first prediction, this fight is not going the distance at all. Someone will be unconscious because they got tapped, or they will be laying face down on the canvas. I do not see this fight going the distance. So I've been looking at my picks on this main card, and I think that, I've been taking a lot of dogs. I'm sticking with that. Chris Duncan is winning by finish, in my opinion. I think that this man is on a tear. Rębecki had a great fight against Miktabek Orablai that he lost by split decision. It was split decision, right? Can someone...
he won, though.
Check me on that.
He beat Orablai.
Or he beat Orablai, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
He beat Orablai by split decision.
Mm-hmm. That was at UFC 308.
Yes, it was. But dude, I just think that Duncan, he has it going for him right now. And he's also just a unit. Rębecki's a consistent wrestler, though. So that's the one thing that makes me a little bit scared, because he lands 75% of his takedowns. However, if he gets in a little too deep, Chris Duncan has a nasty guillotine. Nasty. So that's something that he's going to have to worry about. He's probably going to have to shoot a lot of double legs. If he shoots a single leg, leaves his neck open, Chris Duncan's going to jump on that like Dustin Poirier loved to. It's sad to say love to, because at the same time, like, I can't think about him retiring. That's really sad that we're not going to see him again. Sorry, that was a little side tangent. However, Duncan is an absolute unit, ultra aggressive striker. This guy loves to throw, and he has power for days, but he's also patient. Like, he will wait for Rębecki to make mistakes. And I think that, he's going to wear Rębecki down, and it's going to make him, shoot unnecessary takedowns. And I think that's where he's going to capitalize. I think that the cleaner striker in an underdog role, that's the guy that I like to back. So give me Chris Duncan by finish. I think it could be a knockout or a submission. I'm not too sure, but I do not think this fight is going the distance.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's going to be violent. Sam, do you want to take the floor?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Chris, you had Duncan. You're sticking to the underdogs. I think I'm going to go Rębecki here. It's tough between if I want to pick him knockout or submission. It's definitely not going the distance. I think I'll go knockout here. I think these are two knockout artists, and I think staying on the feet is probably what's going to happen most likely. But this is going to be a violent fight nonetheless. I will go Rębecki by knockout. I think overall, I think he is it's so tough. Like, they're both so good at striking defense. Grappling, it's definitely more Rebecki's favor, which I do think gives him an advantage here. But I think Rebecki, that Orlbai win, it was a split decision. And he lost to Fajeda. So he's coming off 2 fights that aren't the most impressive. Mm-hmm. I think after this is his chance to jump into the rankings in this stacked lightweight division. If he wins this fight, he's getting a ranked opportunity. Could even jump into the rankings. Same thing goes for Chris Duncan. I don't think Duncan will jump into the rankings, but he's very close. Nonetheless, I think I'm going to go Rebecki. I think he is the favorite of this fight. I feel a little bit more confident in taking him. And this is a big jump up for Chris Duncan. He's really good, but this is a huge jump up. This is his biggest test so far. Whereas Rebecki, he's proven that he can beat some other guys like Miktabek Orlbai, who I think are a little higher up than Chris Duncan, in my opinion. Therefore, give me Rebecki. I'm going to go by knockout. But it really could go either way, whether it be knockout or submission. Could be either fight or two. I'm going to go with I guess you can split into 4 quadrants, but I'll go Rebecki by knockout here.
Also, if this does anything for the viewers or maybe even you, Sam, because you have changed your mind before. You're the only person to change your mind. These guys are teammates, so they know each other in and out.
They know each other very well.
And the fight is -115 to start round 3. So violence.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be the decider here. Say it with me, fellas. Parody.
Please give me a lone wolf pick. Please give me a lone wolf pick. I'm begging.
Well, I can't be a lone wolf anyway. Oh, give you a lone wolf pick?
Yes, Chris is the only one that hasn't got the lone wolf pick yet.
Maybe. Mateusz Rębecki is an absolute tank at lightweight. Like the guy is literally built like a bowling ball. And he fights exactly how you'd expect. Like, he marches forward, like with that bowling ball.
Yes.
That bowling ball style. He swings with bad intentions. Doesn't mind eating a shot or two to land one of his own. Defense is not really his thing, but the chin, rock solid, man. Rock solid chin. And once he gets on top of you, he's got that kind of like an old school, like, power wrestler vibe. Like, just maybe even sneaks in a sub here and there, but basically he's just going to ride top position. Now, across from him, Chris Duncan, no slouch at all. Like, the guy is a gritty, hard-headed brawler, solid boxing base. He's got a good jab, man. Good jab, clean 1-2. He knows how to mix in the knees and clinch work when it's needed. Like, he's the type of dude who doesn't mind a war, and he actually thrives in chaos too. So, plus, if the fight hits the mat, like, he's got a nasty guillotine that pretty much make you think twice about shooting in. Yes. We just saw it happen to Balaji Oki, where he literally went out cold, and he had to point to the ref that he was out cold.
that was insane. Also, bad job by the ref. Like, you should know when a guy's out cold.
Yeah, but I mean, with Gillies, it's hard to tell. Like, I think it's very hard to tell in a Gilly, but this one. This really just feels like 2 sledgehammers, like, colliding. Like, both guys want to come forward. Both guys are trying to break the other man. So it's really kind of like who cracks first. Now, Duncan can win this. Like, he's got very sharp counters. He could catch Rębecki. He could catch Rębecki slipping. He could even pull off a submission if things get wild on the ground, low key. But I think the reality is, when you stack these two side by side, Rębecki's just the more durable dude. Like, Duncan's been rocked and dropped before. Rębecki just keeps plowing forward, throws more volume, lands more cleanly. Like, the guy takes damage like it's nothing. And I think the kicker is, if Rębecki chooses to wrestle, Duncan's guillotine might not even matter, because Rębecki's neck is literally built like a tree trunk. And like, if the subs don't land, like, Duncan is just stuck on his back eating bombs. So I think this is going to be a war. I also agree with Chris. We have some amazing fights on this card. Like, I think this is going to be fight of the night over Vallejo Silva and Ribovics Brenner, which in their own rights,
I completely agree with that.
Like, those two would be fight of the nights on, like, different cards of their own. But
this is going to be on a normal pay-per-view fight too.
Yeah,
could be.
Like, it really could be. And again, this is going to be a war, but I think Rębecki survives the chaos and just out toughs Duncan over the full 15 minutes. So I'm going to go Mateusz Rębecki by unanimous decision. I will grant you the lone wolf pick.
Yes,
Chris
thank you.
is
I wanted
happy
it
for
so
that.
bad. My
I'll
last
grant
one,
it to you.
I lost. I need to bounce back. So
Yeah, was your
Chris
last one
Duncan-
Petrosky?
Yeah, that didn't go too well.
That was so long ago, man. Yeah,
That was our first ever predictions
That
episode.
was our first
That was
ever
crazy.
predictions. Yo, guys, go back and watch that. That was our first ever prediction, so you can see how far we've come. But also, me and Chris Duncan share names, so he's doing it for me. He's doing it for me.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on from a banger lightweight event to the main event of this card. Number 6, Tatsuro Taira taking on HyunSung Park. And I will start this one. Credit to HyunSung Park for taking this fight on short notice.
100%.
This is not an easy step. And by the way, the Steve Erceg fight was not going to be easy for him either. I actually think he could have beat Steve Erceg. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I would pick him, but I think it would be close. This is not a guy to mess with. He's 10-0. He's only in the flyweight division, which a lot of these fights go to decision. He's only won 1 fight by decision, and he's 10-0. So the other, he's had 5 fights by submission and 4 by TKO. So this guy's not a guy to be messed with. He is a future contender, in my opinion, win or loss with this fight. And this fight will prove that he's up top with some of the best of the best. Is he one of the best, though? Not yet. I got Taira in this one by submission. 10-0 versus 16-1. Your only losses to Brandon Royval. I mean, or was it Moreno? No, it was Royval.
No, it was Royval.
I get those two confused all the time. For Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval. It was Albazi lost to Moreno, and I was going back and forth with that. Tatsuro Taira, I think, is just the more experienced fighter. He is also a guy that does not go to decision that much. Only 4 decisions out of his 16 wins. His only loss was a split decision, by the way. This guy is, I believe, even more of a future contender at this flyweight division. 16-1. Looking real good. His only loss is to one of the best contenders by a split decision. And now he's having such a fight down. It's unfortunate circumstances for him. Nonetheless, though, this fight will put him 1 away from a title fight. I think if he wins this fight, we'll do a bit of an early match make right here for Tatsuro Taira. If he wins, he is fighting Brandon Moreno for a title eliminator. I think that's the only one that can happen. Taira will be on a 1-fight win streak with the fight against Royval being his only loss, 17-1 versus Brandon Moreno, who's going for that 3-fight win streak. And the winner of that gets Pantoja and Van, unless Pantoja loses to Van and get a rematch, which is a possibility. But at the end of the day, I got Taira winning this fight. Give me Taira by submission. I do not think this fight will go to decision no matter who wins. I think this fight will be an all-out war as well. This is one of the better flyweight fights I think we'll see all year. Which is saying a lot because Van and Royval also fought this year. So just keep that on your mind. But at the end of the day, I got Taira by submission here. Park loves going on the ground. Taira loves going on the ground. This is going to be fight 1 on the ground. Could be 1 on the feet too. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it's more likely it's 1 on the ground.
Yeah, short notice fight for Park, but I really don't think we should sleep on HyunSung Park. Like, this guy
Do not sleep on him. I know I just picked Taira. Do not sleep on HyunSung Park. I am telling you right now, do not sleep on this guy.
Yeah, he's a complete fighter. He can box, he can wrestle, he can grapple. Honestly, like, one of the more slept on guys in flyweight. But I'm gonna go with Tatsuro Taira here. He's had a full camp, just elite jiu-jitsu, very, very solid cardio. He looked good even in that loss to Royval, which is a banger fight, by the way. You should go check that out.
That was at it was a fight night.
It was a fight night, and he main evented the Apex, so he's in a similar spot here. He's actually main evented the Apex in his last 3 fights because before the Royval fight, he beat Alex Perez in the main event. I forget when it was, but he won because Perez blew out his knee.
Yeah, it was June of last year.
Yeah, so I'll take Taira by decision. I think he uses his grappling and just banks rounds across 25 minutes. Park, definitely dangerous, but I just don't think he's faced anyone like Tatsuro Taira yet. So just based off that, give me Taira here.
By the way, on the note of the Perez fight, you want to talk about a terrible Apex card? Holy hell, that card is terrible.
Yeah, look at that card compared to this one.
Yeah, look at that card compared to this one. I mean, the only other notable fighter on that is Asu Amabayev.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Don't take this Apex card for granted. It's still, like I said, not the best one we could have got, but
no,
still
this
better.
is now that we've gone through it, this is the best Apex card we could have got. Like this is
a lot
going to be
more fun.
fire,
I'm honestly having so much more fun just doing this and breaking down these fights. And then you the more you get into it, the more you like the card. That card right there is terrible. This card getting better and better the more you think of it, man. I'll tell you that much.
All right. So
another lone wolf for Chris.
I've been picking a lot of underdogs this card. Short notice fight, don't get me wrong.
He's building it up so he can take Taira, spoiler alert.
I wouldn't even by the way, I wouldn't even call this a short notice fight, considering that Park was supposed to fight next week. So he was already in camp.
That is true.
He just has to change. He just has, I mean, you have to fight a different opponent, a completely different opponent, by the way. But yeah.
Look, honestly, we've talked about a lot of live dogs on this card. I think Park is one of them too. He is a very live dog in this. I think that Taira is just, he's just itching for a bounce back after his last fight. And I think that Park is going to lose his 0, just like many undefeated fighters have this year. But it's going to be a great fight. I actually don't think it's going to go to decision. I think that it will. I don't even think it's going to end. Excuse me. Sorry, I said that wrong. I think it's going to end before the 4th round. So I agree
with that. I agree.
I saw a prop that was fight to start the 4th round or not start the 4th round. Excuse me, was -120. I think that's a great prop. The fight to go the distance is actually +150. On the other side, it's -210 to not go the distance. I think that regardless of who wins, if Park can win, which he 1000% has all of the tools to do, I think that this will be finished before the 4th round. So that if we're looking at props and speaking about that is definitely something to look out for. But this is going to be a very good fight. This is a great flyweight fight. And if Park wins, he's right in the title mix in, a very, I would kind of say like unstable title picture other than Josh Van, who was 100% fighting Pantoja for.
It's stabilizing now.
It's stabilizing, but look, Park can shake a lot of things up with a win right here. He definitely can. But I like that. I like this 2 Asian prospects going at each other. I believe both of them were they both on road to UFC? I think they were.
No, Taira wasn't. No,
Taira wasn't. No, they both. I'm pretty sure they both were.
Park wasn't. Taira was.
Park wasn't. Okay.
Yeah. Taira actually could be one of the first. That they're actually promoting that Taira could be one of the first road to UFC guys to win a belt. So that would be huge. They're really promoting that hard.
Like I said, these side promotions within the UFC can actually, matter there. So
we talked about it last week, man. These side promotions are working well for them.
No, wait. Did Taira? I don't think Taira was en road to the UFC. Now that I'm looking at it.
One of them was. I feel like
it was. I think it was Park. I'm pretty sure.
It might have been Park. All right. Whatever.
Regardless, side promotions doing well. He was on the road to the UFC. Regardless, side promotions doing well for the UFC. 2 great high level talents. Putting on for Asian MMA. Love to see it. And I think that it'll be a great card, top to bottom. This main card is going to be awesome. You got at 9:00 on Saturday, guys, sit down, watch it, please. It'll make you more of a UFC fan than you probably already were.
I completely agree. And unfortunately, I have to work during this card, unfortunately. So all good. If my employer is watching this, it is not with you. It is with a one-time freelance thing. It is all good. I love my employer. Just putting that out there for them.
Sam's a bag chaser.
Yeah. So, but it's all good. I need the money, so I'll take it. Hey, helps fund the podcast at the end of the day. So we're all set. One last thing before we go. If Park does win this fight, is he a title eliminator away from a title shot?
No. If Park wins, no. He needs one more.
All right. If he wins in some crazy, convincing way,
like if he knocks out Taira, then yes.
Yeah. Then I could say yes. But it'll shoot him up the rankings with a win regardless. But if it's a convincing win,
like if it's like
I could be down for that.
If it's like a unanimous decision or like a split decision, then probably not.
Yes, I agree with that.
But that also depends on how convincing the decision was.
Right, 100%. Sam just spoke about funding the podcast potentially. You know what else funds the podcast? Please like and subscribe, guys.
Yes, liking and subscribe, checking out all our socials below, sharing this podcast with your friends. If you have a friend that wants to get into MMA, be like, hey, there's a card this weekend. You want to watch with me? They're going to be like, nah, I don't even know who Tatsuro Taira is. All right. Well, you can check out the War Room MMA MMA War Room podcast,
Socials.
Me. Check that out down below. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us. We'll be back on Sunday with the recaps. I know I'm not watching the fight, but I will tell you this much. I'm going to be doing my research. I will be watching the highlights, doing everything to be ready for the breakdown. So it should be a fun one. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We will see you after the fight.